Hey everybody, welcome to a mobile GigaCast recording. I'm Britton Johnson. I'm here with Mr. Patrick Kremer from VMware. Are you still with VMware?
I am still VMware.
Okay.
Yep.
Because you're on the Dell side now.
Yes.
Right.
The Dell EMC Synergy Acceleration Team. A nice mouthful.
Okay.
Fancy way of just saying.
The last time I heard from you, you were on the Dell Execution Team.
They renamed it because apparently the word execution doesn't go over well in certain areas. It upset a certain number of people, so they had to rename it.
I guess truth. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I did like how when you first switched teams, you announced that you were not on a team of highly paid assassins.
Yes.
That was good.
Forgot about that. I did do that.
So maybe that's why they changed it.
Possibly.
Like, so what kind of stuff are you seeing on a day-to-day basis now?
So we're selling a lot of rail, that's for sure, right?
Yeah.
You know, I go out there and I'm out in the field with Dell sellers, right, in front of customers, and then some of what I'm doing is training them on the entire VMware product line. We're selling a ton of rail out in the field, lots of interest there, and getting a lot of interest in VMware Cloud on AWS. So customers ready to look at moving
and
cloud-like.
And the prices on VMC, which I still think is a horrible acronym for that product, VMware Cloud on AWS or VMC. The prices are dropping finally, right?
Bunch of different offerings, right? So we started off with a minimum 4-node cluster, and we've since introduced 3 nodes. Okay. And then we introduced the 1 node, which is really just a development use case.
It's like a 30-day trial or whatever.
30-day trial, but good for certain use cases. And then we just at VMworld announced EBS-backed vSAN.
So what is that?
So under our original offering, right, all of the disk, the vSAN disk was NVMe in the box. So about 10.7 terabytes per host of NVMe all-flash storage. EBS-backed vSAN is where we're actually using Amazon's Elastic Block Store to provide vSAN services. So instead of a fixed 10 per box, we can go between 5 and 35 terabytes per host. Yeah,
that's a lot.
It's a lot of storage
per host.
Per host.
Holy
so it
cow.
Really helps when you're talking a DR use case.
Yeah.
Right, where you're going to be, CPU and memory low, but you're going to be heavy on storage, right?
Yeah.
Opens a lot of doors for those conversations, and
it's
pretty cool. And really, we've been booting off of EBS since its inception. A lot of people don't know that.
Okay. So what's happening right now that really excites you and gets you going in the morning on this stuff? Is there anything?
I just came out of our a bunch of futures conversations in Palo Alto, which I can't talk a ton about. Amazing stuff coming down, but what I think is interesting about the direction that VMware is heading is this Project Dimension. I don't know if you've heard about it.
A little bit, yeah.
I announced a little bit about it, but it's this model.
It was announced at VMworld. I've heard whispers about it. So can you give me like a 5-second
concise 5 seconds? So it's kind of like vSphere as a service, sort of. So I come out of the Fortune 500 universe, right, where you had a whole bunch of satellite sites that just languished because you never had anybody to patch them and there was no on-site IT.
Right.
So the idea behind Dimension is we deliver a hardware package, right? We're actually able to drop ship it out to one of these sites, and we patch it as the service. We upgrade it, we keep it current, and you manage the workloads on top of it. So it's almost like VMware Cloud on AWS, but
on-premise?
On-prem, all over the place, right?
Wow.
To handle your branches. So it's a very different way of doing things.
Yeah.
Right? You're talking about not doing CapEx anymore. You're talking about here's your OpEx monthly price to have this type of gear dropped. And it's a very different way that we'd be doing business as VMware for these use cases.
What size of customers are you seeing going? After that interruption, the presidential alert,
they work.
We'll come back to this. So, anyway, I think the question was, what size of customers are you seeing going for Project Dimension?
Yeah, so, the initial ones are larger, ones that have a major problem in the field, retail locations who have, thousands of stores, larger enterprises that have tons of satellite sites that you just can't get people out to, right? But, I think that's just for alpha and beta phases, right? I see a lot of applicability in the commercial space, right? Where you have your one admin and you still have a bunch of satellite sites and you just can't get to it, right? I do see applicability in commercial, which is where I came out of, your mid-market accounts. So
Cool. So what kind of stuff are you running in the home lab these days?
yeah, I just dropped a whole bunch. I had just sat my boxes and my little switch, my little Cisco switch on like an old dresser, right? An old dresser that was there, and I was using the drawer. I know
That's like really home labbing it.
so
right there.
home lab, right? But then we needed the dresser, right? So I was left with a choice. I could either buy a new dresser, which is boring as hell, or I could go buy a rack.
Ooh, yes.
So I bought myself a 24U rack.
Cool.
And then, of course, I needed to buy. It's like an adult if you give a mouse a cookie, right?
Yeah.
If you give a Patrick a rack, he'll want some shelves, and then he'll want some switches. So
There's a book in there somewhere for you. We need to. I've long thought, since I've been reading my kids like Dr. Seuss books and stuff.
Yeah.
All of these need to be transposed into technology books for adults.
that's a really good idea. That might be my retirement plan. So I got myself some Ubiquiti, right? A Ubiquiti Edge gateway, and then some Ubiquiti PoE switches, and then I'm like, well, I also need to solve my wireless problem, so I got some Ubiquiti. Hey, Aaron.
Aaron Bolthouse is calling. Let's just see what he has to say. Hey, how you doing?
I'm fantastic, man. I'm sorry. I'll be at Usercon in like an hour and a half.
All right. I'm actually interviewing Patrick Kremer right now, so you're live on my interview with him.
Oh, excellent.
What's up, Bullhouse?
Did you close
What's up,
your
guys?
Did you close your deal?
We're working on it.
All right. Well, we're here if you need us.
Yeah, I will be there to see you guys in an hour and a half.
All right. Sounds good.
See ya.
Bye.
So I got some APs and like some actual, almost professional wireless in the house.
Cool.
I haven't ran the cable yet.
What APs did you get?
So man, I can't.
Did you go with like Cisco's or Ubiquities?
No,
or something?
Ubiquitys.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't remember the name, but their professional
the
line.
AC Pros or whatever.
Yeah. That's what it was. I haven't.
I've been I'm a huge Ubiquiti fan. All of my customer sites that I can install Wi-Fi at, that's what I put.
Okay.
I mean, I've got a 200-room hotel full of Ubiquiti APs,
Wow.
and it's rock solid.
I've been pretty impressed, right, with just how easy it was to get going and stood up. And
their stuff is the bomb, man. I mean, it just works, man. And it's not $30,000.
right.
you know.
And I get in there, I'm tinkering around, and I'm like, man, I've seen these features on, competitors, and it was really, I mean, certainly within a home lab cost, and I'll actually get some solid wireless coverage. Cool. Really, what kicked off the Wi-Fi problem was my Ring. I got a Ring doorbell because they got me on one of their Prime Day sales. All right, fine, $90 off. I'll go with one, and then. My Wi-Fi's in the basement. It doesn't quite reach, so the connection's
You win, Jeff Bezos.
I'll give in. That's been cool, though. We make good use of the Ring. So
Cool. Have you caught anybody stealing stuff off your porch yet?
That's a real sore spot, right? So I had been tinkering with the range, right? Trying to stop getting false positives.
Yeah.
And we had our roof redone.
Okay.
And on that day, I had happened to tinker and bring the range in too far, and it wasn't enough to cover the shingles. Somebody literally stole what was left of the shingles off my
God.
lawn. And I have no record of it, and it's because I pulled the trip range in too far. Very, very.
How many packs of shingles did they steal?
Well, thankfully they didn't steal until after the roof was done.
Well,
but,
yeah.
I mean, it was. I don't know. It was probably.
Because those things aren't light.
No.
They're like a good 80 pounds a pack usually.
There were. No, it was at least two. There were quite a few left over.
And who would steal shingles?
Right, that's the thing. It's like it was copper. What are you gonna do? You're gonna, return them, or I don't know. But I don't know. I don't know what the angle is. It's just like, I need to refinish my roof. Here's some free shingles. I don't. I don't quite get the angle there, but
All right.
you know, I
Well,
don't have their
hey.
photo to go ask them. So, but if you're out there, let me know. I'm not gonna come after
Give
you.
Patrick his shingles back.
I'm more intellectually curious than anything else. What's your end game?
Yeah.
Shingle
right.
black market.
So that's the home lab. We've talked about kind of your work stuff. You did a VMUG talk last year, 2 years ago, about some stuff you did for a school.
Yeah.
Have you followed up with them at all to see how things are going?
Yeah, actually, it's kind of funny.
What was the name of that project again?
So the school district is Reed Custer Community
Yeah.
Unit School District in Braidwood, Illinois.
Okay.
I'm actually I'm going to sit in a career fair for them in a few days.
Cool.
Actually, I'm going back there and talk a little bit about what we did and what you do in IT and
Yeah.
why you might want to do maybe pre-sales, maybe not. Just kind of talk through what I do and.
But the environment inside itself is running
Environment's
well.
still up and running. Yeah, I'm in contact with them. I don't know, maybe every 3 or 6 months, and they're still chugging along on their vSAN.
That was a really cool project. I mean, and it was sort of a. If you want to kind of just brief us on sort of how it went a little bit, because it was like half donated stuff and half money raised by the school district.
Yeah. So, service, community service is a pretty big thing at VMware.
Yeah.
You get 40 paid hours a year as an employee to go out and volunteer wherever you want at any nonprofit. And then these projects are an employee sponsors it, and you group together a bunch of different people's 40 hours, and you build an IT project.
Okay.
Along with you get cash donations, and you can get VMware software donations.
Okay.
There's a requirement that the nonprofit has a little skin in the game, right? So they need to fund some of it. But yeah, at the end of the day, it was like $500,000 total between cash and software donations, and then 440 or so hours spread across 11 people.
But you guys got like internet and stuff pulled in for them too, from what I remember.
Yeah, so originally
it was kind of
I went on
beyond-
site there in 2011. The company that I worked for at the time, they went through an IT transformation.
Yeah.
Reed Custer at the time had 20 and 30-year-old Macs, and they had Cat 3 in the walls.
Yeah.
And they had T1 lines between the buildings. So it was a whole bunch of engineers that they pulled cable and new wireless and new connectivity between the schools and a new internet pipe and brand new VDI. So I spent well over a year on site there just getting it all stood up. All the VMware stuff stood up, VDI stood up, the array and all that stuff. So that's how I even knew that they were around back in 2015 and 16 when some of the gear was coming up on maintenance. And I'd heard about what this foundation project was, and I just thought, it was considerably bigger than one they've ever done before, but my mentor who was walking me through it was just like, just ask. What are they going to do? The worst they're going to say is no, right?
Yeah, and I remember just hearing you talk about it and just being kind of blown away at like how much effort went through this for them and what they kind of got on the end of it, and it was a really impressive project overall. And you talked about too about just how architecting it itself was a challenge just for you.
It was, right? Because I'm not an architect, right? I aspire to be someday, but it gave me new respect for just how involved and the depth of knowledge that a VCDX level architect actually has, and the number of questions and things that you mess up, right? Like an assumption. You making it like I made an assumption and it could have derailed the whole project, right? You mess up one version on one thing and then there's a chain effect, right? So that version was a requirement, but oops, these endpoints don't support it. Therefore, the endpoints would have to be upgraded. Therefore, we're short $100,000. What do we do? Right?
Yeah.
So
and those are the hard ones to come back to the people in charge and be like, we need more money.
It's a little rough.
Yeah.
It's a little rough. Learning experience always, but always keep checking. But yeah, you go back and you ask the hardware vendor to sharpen their pencils a little more. I'm not gonna lie, I begged. I flat out begged. I'm like, you fall on your sword, you said you screwed up, and you say, Is there a way we can make it work? And
Well, that's
it ended up
really
working,
cool.
ended up working out, and that inspired me to do at VMware. We have different sets of programs. We have a Take One, which is where you get to take a week every year to go get trained on something. It may not even have to be related to your job. After 3 years on the job, you get a Take Two, where you can take 2 whole weeks to do some other job. So I went and worked with the VMware Foundation to help revamp that exact program that I went through to do it, to make it a little more accessible to other people at VMware. Not necessarily as IT centric, because realistically you would have had to have been an engineer to take advantage of the program. We have lots of other professions at VMware, right? Why shouldn't a lawyer be able to donate their time and talent through this program?
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
So it's kind of the thought process behind what we did. So
Cool.
It's cool.
All right. Well, thanks, Patrick, for the update. And we'll get you on an actual episode of the GigaCast soon, hopefully.
Awesome. Sounds good.
You can chat at us for an hour about whatever you want.
Very good.
Cool. All right.
See y'all.